Buddy, yes, that's Auntie Zoom telling you that we're recording this session for posterity. Just the other day, I was on a you and I call with 350 leaders, just about to start my session when they did this. And instead of clicking got it, I clicked leave meeting. So there's 300 people waiting for me to start my session. And I said, thank you very much. I'll see you later. So whoever was running the meeting had high stress after that. But hello, welcome. I think we've got 60 minutes, now 55 minutes together. Where it's going to be a fun 55 minutes. It's going to be breakneck speed, so get used to it. If you've got headphones, put them on, just so everyone else doesn't hear all the nonsense that's going to happen. If you've got paper and pen, keep them. We're going to put them together and put them to good use sometime. If you don't know us, and you probably should, otherwise, Satish and I are, I don't know, a few things. We lead an organization called You and I Have the Joy of Doing That, and also lead a training company called Change Plus. But more importantly, we're here and we've got an hour together. Okay, so let's get right to it. Okay, so firstly, we're a group of strangers in a room. Some of us know each other, some of us don't. So I think it'll be good to say hi to each other. That's what my mother taught me, at least. So quickly, if you can find the chat box, wherever it is, say hi in the chat box, say your name, give yourself a middle name like you would want to. So whatever you want your middle name to be. So say hi and tell me also one thing, tell us all one thing that you would like to see happen in the next 60 minutes. Okay, apart from I want to find my purpose. I think that's a given. Let's apart from that, okay, or if it is that, we'll take that one also, right? So hi, I'm Divya with a middle name, and which is not Mysore, and and which is our actual middle name. So, and one thing that you want to see happen in the next 60 minutes. Okay, quickly, go. Time is money.
We just got HNI. That's
wow.
Right there.
What is your full form of HNI? Hot new individual.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No longer an intern.
So. Come on.
Oh.
Hey, Abigail. Srinidhi, hi.
Hi, Abby. Feel free to make up your own second name, whatever you feel it should be, middle name. It's a great time in life to do it, to rebrand yourself. But tell us one thing you'd like to see happen in the next 60 minutes. Apart from seeing Satish dance, yeah, what else would you like to see?
Charge a lot more than 199 for that.
Yeah, Sanjana, I want to see energy overflowing. That we can make happen. Meena here, and my middle name is Sampath. Interesting. Very cool. 6 minutes, want to decide whether to quit my job or stay at it. Okay, so especially if you work for an organization called You and I, and you're in this room today, please don't think of quitting your job. You'll find your purpose right here. Yeah.
I'll pay your money back.
The job. Yeah, Parnika, and like to see purpose matches my passion. I love that. Beautiful. Keep them coming. Okay. Before we get into it, Divya, fire Sampath, completely 100 million% agree with that. Love to meet some super cool people today. That is going to happen. Ria, middle name is Hungry. Thanks, Ria. Already starting that at the beginning. You should, at 8 o'clock, I can see that happening. Yeah, just want to have a good time. Nice. Love it. Okay. First thing you need to type into the chat box, not first thing, obviously, second thing now is, what year did you come into existence? Now, this isn't a meta question. Don't sort of think of it. It's just which year were you born, Baba? So tell us which year were you born. Quickly, put it into the chat box. Yeah, wow. Flying in. Nice. 95, 99, 2001. I finished my master's in 2000. Just kidding. 97, 92, Akshata Joshi, looking forward to meet like-minded people. Love it, Akshada. Kiona says 2004. Beautiful, Kiona. Love it that you're here. Renuka's 82. Renuka, feel you. I am 1979, just in case anyone's wondering. I'll type it in here. 1979, a 70s person, right? The original came out, born wearing bell-bottoms, all of that, right? So beautiful. That's a wide range. We've got from the 70s all the way up to the 2000s. Nice. Last one before we get started. What was your childhood dream? when you were a kid, what did you want to become? It could have been 5 things, it could have been 2 things, it could have been one thing. It could have been, I have no idea. KAS officer, love it. Doctor, waitress, astronaut, lawyer, survived childhood. I think that's a brilliant one. Love it. Whoever said that. Ashwati, classic, Achu. Pilot, vet, none. Jenny, magic.
Wow.
Love it. Doctor, president, fighter pilot. Nice. I love that. That's some serious stuff.
Come on.
Yeah. Dhanya says none. Nothing as such. Definitely. Wizard, detective. Nice. Actor. Honestly, I didn't have dreams, but I have a hell of a lot now. Love that. Manchla, do I call you Manchla or Yashwanti? What do I call you?
Yashwanti.
Yashwanti. That's,
Yeah.
I felt as much. Yeah. Excellent. Love it. Beautiful. I think so many different dreams, right? And I think it's good to have them, and I think we all figure it out along the way, right? Like I remember when I was a kid, I grew up in a good Andhra family, and if you look at this family photo of ours, this stunning family photo of ours, no points for guessing which one I am in this family. Like every other Andhra family, we were a family of computer engineers, and everybody, I think, was born with a keyboard when they sort of came out of the womb, right? And literally, and I kid you not, everybody in my family was an engineer. It was fairly intimidating, and everyone knew they wanted to become an engineer. It's not like they landed up there. Not that anybody dreams of something else then becomes an engineer. It's always the other way around, right? So and if you don't believe me, like this is a close up of this picture, and like my dad, he worked in IBM in the 70s, then worked for a company called Computer Maintenance Corporation. I mean, how much more do you want that, right? And he worked there for 30 years and ran his own IT company. My uncle worked for Intel for like 40 years. My cousin went to Stanford to study computer engineering. My uncle went to College of Engineering, Gindi. My other cousin, Ranjana, she went to RV and then eventually went to the US to study. My aunt taught computer. Even my granddad, in the time before computers, he did his BSc. He was a sciencey, and then there was my mom and my grandmom who were homemakers, and my brother, my own flesh and blood, the most computer engineer type of them all, right? He's worked for Intel pretty much his entire career for the last 20 years. And then there was me, sitting in that corner, dressed in yellow as always, with a bit of black, good combination right there. Obviously, fashion sense was not my thing with the overalls. But I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I literally had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And I was clueless back then, had no idea, career, purpose, passion, none of them, right? And the truth was, I always felt slightly out of place, right? Because you're surrounded by all these people who their lives are ones and zeros. All our family conversations were about computers and this and that, and I had no clue, right? So, I mean, thinking of a million options, I think I was told, hey, you should become a doctor because obviously engineer is not happening for you. So I tried twice in trying to become a doctor. Obviously, that didn't work out very well. Then said, hey, you know what if I became a lawyer because I can talk fairly well. But that lasted about 3.5 minutes. Then said, hey, you can talk a lot. So maybe a journalist, right? And that lasted about 2 months. And then eventually went inside history. So I have no idea why. And so I can promise you that when it comes to something like finding your purpose, finding your career, finding your thing, finding your jam, whatever you want to call it, I understand that it is tough. I understand that it is something, especially when you don't have that one thing, it is tough. And I think here's the truth. We exist on this earth for some undetermined period of time, right? And during that time, we do things. Some of these things are important, some of these things are unimportant. And the important things, the meaningful things, are really what give our life meaning, happiness, joy, purpose. And the unimportant things basically just kill time, right? So when people ask this question of what should I do with my life? What is my life purpose? First of all, I think that's a tough question to answer, right? Maybe your life doesn't have to have one overarching purpose. Maybe if it could have more than that. And so today I want to do a couple of things before we start, is just reduce the pressure on that question. we don't need to walk away from this like with one thing that you're sort of going to put on your forehead and walk around for the rest of your life. But I think maybe a better question that we should be asking is, what can I do with my time that is important? What can I do with my time that is important to me? What can I do with my time that is meaningful to me, that matters to me, that when I look back, I'll be like, that was worth it. And I think if we can get there, at least, or start that journey today, I think we would have done well in 60 minutes, okay? So that's where we're headed today, just to give you a glimpse of what the next 44 minutes have for you. So we're going to start with some introspection, some deep thinking about your life, right? So if you can all put your thinking face on, whatever your thinking face is, and we're going to spend some time trying to think through, because this is about you, right? And the next 45 minutes are you sort of journaling, thinking, reading, trying to think through sort of what's next. Okay, so we've got three sort of stages. We've divided the next 45 minutes into. Each stage will take about 15 minutes for you to work through and just for you to reflect, introspect, think through, and understand you better. That's all this is, right? And to maybe get a glimpse and learn maybe a bit from each other today. Okay. So the first stage, we're going to try and understand what are some of the things that interest us? What are some of our passions? And we're going to try and do a brain dump on all the things that we think could interest us, could be fun for us, could be some things that we love doing. Okay, well, we're going to start there. So what I want you to do is to take your paper, flip it into landscape mode from portrait and try and make 3 columns in it. Okay, and call the first column, column passion, or interest, or whatever you want to call it, right? So that's your first column. And what we're trying to answer today is, as you get your pens and papers ready, is answer a very simple question, right? Is, hey, what do I really love to do? What are things I enjoy doing, right? So I'm going to play some quick thinking music for us, and I'll try and keep quiet for a bit. But I want you to sort of think of this, right? What do you love to do? What really brings a smile to your face? There's my thinking music. Isn't it lovely? So what brings you joy? Also, maybe flip that a bit. Cal Newport talks about how things we're good at actually bring us joy, right? So when you're good at something, you automatically start doing more of it. So passion is not this vague thing that's lying out there in the universe somewhere for you to find. I think a lot of it already is in us, right? We have very natural tendencies. Like, I love spending time with people, right? I love connecting with people, and I'm also good at it. So what are things that you enjoy doing that you're also good at, that you're skilled at? What are things that your friends come and ask you help for? I think Simon Sinek, when he's talking about this piece, he says a great activity to run is to go talk to five or six of your close friends, not family, he says friends. Go to them and ask them, why are you my friend? And after they finish some of the awkwardness, because that's a fairly awkward question to ask your friends, you'll get to that place. So maybe think of that. What value do you feel you add to your friends' lives? And maybe once we're done, ask people that. Maybe a couple more questions to help us process our passions and what our interests are. Maybe think of what causes you feel strongly about, right? What excites you? What fascinates you? What do you want to learn more about? And for this first brain dump, just put whatever comes to your mind. There is no wrong answer, right? If you're even 5% interested in, put it down. The more the merrier in this round. Okay, and as we take you through the stages, we'll try and narrow it down a bit. But put down as much as possible. What do you love doing as a child? What do you love doing for those of us in our 20s? What do you love doing as a teenager that maybe you don't do anymore? For those of us in our 30s, what do you love doing in your 20s that, you know? Okay, a few more questions to get us thinking. Now, thinking forward, right? You've looked back a bit. What do you want to be known for? What would you like to be known for? I think a great question, which I ask in a lot of interviews also, is what makes you angry? Because what makes you angry are things you really care about. A version of that is what injustices really bother you, right? I mean, there's so many great causes in the world, so many things in the news when you hear about it, you're like, man, I can't believe we live in a world like that. What injustices bother you? I like this last one. What would you do if you could live forever? I know mostly the answer is nothing, but like hypothetically. If you feel you're done, give me a done in the chat box. If you feel you need more time, just say time. Yeah, that could be a situation, Meena. I think it's, for now, keep it as wide and open-ended as you want, right? Because within that situation, there may be something that you find is the reason for anger. It could be a lack of freedom. It could be something within that where you feel like, so if you haven't got enough on your list, let me just prompt you with a few images. Yeah. So there's so many things just in terms of passions, right from your mental health to learning to research to public speaking to singing to the arts to cooking to gardening to travel to business to being an entrepreneur to creating sustainable businesses to animals to gaming to adventure sport to going to the moon. Whatever it is, put it down. Cool. If you're comfortable with and you feel your what you've put down is not on this list, feel free to share it in the chat box so others also get inspired by some of your passions, by some things that you're excited about. Put in the chat box. That also is helpful to other people sometimes. Yeah. Cool. Do we have a list? Give me a thumbs up if you have a list, right? And if you can, tell me how many you have in your list. Just put that in the chat box. That'll be helpful. So then we know that, okay, we've got something to play with here. Got something to work with. How long is your list? We did this, the last time we did this, we had 15, 20, 11, 9, 13. That's good. Parnika's got 20. This isn't a competition. Huh? We're not looking for longest lists. Yeah. Nice. Excellent. Okay, so we've thought through some of our passions, things we're interested in, things we feel strongly about. Now we want to spend a little time sort of thinking through our potential, right? What is it here that we have potential for, or potentially could be something that we could pursue a bit more? So if you can put your hands together for the one, the only Satish Manchikanti. He has his own intro music also. That's how cool he is. Yeah. So Satish is going to quickly take us through this section. Yeah. Hi, Satish.
Okay, that was just to give you a 30 seconds of bliss to look at your list and think of that Insta real life, right? You could be in those 16, 20 things you've written down. You could be running on a mountain, lying on a beach, traveling, and living the life, right? But if you've had that 30 seconds is enough, I want to bring you back to reality now, right? Because to be honest, right, like even to have the luxury to ask this question, hey, what is the purpose of my life? You've got to be lucky, right? And because the majority of us don't have that luxury. Yeah. Let me tell you how I kind of started off my life. I think Ajit talked about his family of engineers, right? Everybody was an engineer. I was the flip side of that, right? In my family there were no engineers at all, right? And he talked about the love language of ones and zeros. If I have to look back at my childhood, I remember more zeros than anything. Didn't do too well at school. I'm dyslexic, so school wasn't too much of fun for me, right? So when I was at a stage where I was trying to figure out, hey, what am I going to do with my life? I only had the capacity to look at the bottom rack of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Right now, I know that a lot of you here who are very familiar with what I mean by Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But for few of us who probably never heard of it, I quickly want to share this concept with you, and then we'll kind of work from there, right? So there's this guy in 1940s. His name was Abraham Maslow, Jewish psychologist with Russian roots, living in the US in the heyday of capitalism. Tried to do what you're trying to do in 60 minutes. He tried to do that in 15 years, trying to figure out, hey, what is this, the whole purpose, meaning, why of life, and all the work we do, why do we do it, and what's the objective of it, right? And he wrote this research paper, and that's kind of become a Bible to really understand the needs of human beings. No matter what time span you belong to, this doesn't change much, right? And the bottom rack is your literally your physiological needs, right? Like this is your roti, kapda, makan, right? This is the air you breathe, the water you drink, the food you eat. You need these things to exist. I kind of looked at the audience today and customized the logos here. I know she used to be quite upset if she didn't see pizza there as one of the basic needs. And of course, Susan Das would be extremely upset if I didn't put Starbucks there, and all of you will be upset if I didn't put Wi-Fi there, right? So that the most fundamental needs, those need to be met, right? So you start there. You cannot think of, hey, what's the purpose of my life? What do I want to do unless these needs are met, right? And then kind of you graduate from there. Once you kind of those needs are met, you as human beings we need that sense of security, right? So once those needs are met, you want to kind of invest in a house, do a bit of saving, you want to have insurance, right? And then the level three is the social needs, right? You want to be loved, you want to belong, to a family, to a community, right? And that longing to be loved and to belong, right? And we know we need those bunch of friends that we call our gang, our tribe. And there is a need to do something well in life, right? And do something well and to be recognized and appreciated for that. And then comes the fulfillment. What fulfills me? What do I do that kind of really completes me, and I feel satisfied when I do it, right? So these are your kind of 5 levels of needs, right? And conventional wisdom, right? If it's a lot of our parents and teachers would kind of push you in that conventional wisdom, right? A lot of your 20s kind of goes in figuring out the security, the sense of security. You start earning and you want to invest, you want to sort of invest in a home. In 30s, you want to build a family, you want to join a club, you want to, a lot of us in our 30s join that cycling club or whatever, right? Rotary club, right? And 40s, by 40s, you want to be in somewhere on that corporate ladder, right? Or if you're into a startup world, you'd want to build something by then. And then comes 50s, and that's when we are thinking, but what do I want? What fulfills me, right? And by and large, this seems to be the blueprint of how we go about life. And if you're a wild child like Ajit, then you probably mix it up a little bit more. You'd spend your 20s behind friends, and then in 30s kind of get very anxious about, hey, I'm still not settled compared to my peers, right? So no matter how much you mix it up, this is more or less the way you go about it, right? So I think the beautiful thing about today, as you sit here and spend this precious minutes thinking about it, is to ask yourself, is there a better way to do this? Is there a smarter way to do this, right? And fortunately, I had that opportunity, when I was trying to figure my life out, and I looked at these things and said, okay, what is more important for me? And I was like a 5-year-old child offered a chocolate cake and ice cream, and I said, I want both, right? I want a bit of both, right? And that is what you should actually expect from your life. You should be saying, hey, give me one of each, right? Is there a way to hack it where we are able to tick a lot of these boxes and not waiting till we are 50 to do something that fulfills us, right? So that's what we're going to do next. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of send you back to kind of reflect and ask few more questions where you're able to kind of tick off some of these things, right? And so you've got this list of 8 things or 15 things, right? And what you want to do next is to see, do they stand the test of what boxes do they tick? Yeah. So what I want you to do is, you probably have written down about whatever the list you have of 8 things or 15 things. I'm going to ask you about 4 questions. And if the answer for that question is S for any of your needs, just put a tick on about that. Say if you've written gardening, right? And the next question, answer for that, for gardening, the answer is yes, then put a tick there, right? And do that with all your list, with every passion that's on the list, right? So let's jump into it. uh, the first thing, right, your physiological need, your security, right? If those need to be met, then you've got to look at your list and look at each of those things on your list and say, will someone actually pay me to do this, right? So look at those 8 things or 15 things and ask yourself, will actually someone pay me to do this? And if the answer is yes, then I want you to put 2 ticks, because it kind of meets 2 needs, right? Your money is going to take care of the first 2, that the foundation, right? So look at all your list, look at each of those, and then yes, if you think you can make money doing it, put it two tick marks there. Now, I also want to challenge you by saying that don't write it off saying, oh, a lot of these things I can't make money, because the reality in the world you live in, most things you can monetize. I'll give you a very simple example. Many years ago, one of the things I kind of really love doing even today is making presentations. Like, you give me a PPT, I can sit through the night making slides. And I wondered if I could monetize it. Would somebody pay me to actually make slides for them, right? And today, one of the many ways Ajit and I make money is by making PPTs. Yeah. And we charge a bomb for it. To make one slide, we charge $1,000. Usually a PPT is about 1 lakh. So most things in life, if you have a passion and if you really kind of hone that skill, you can monetize it. So I really want to challenge you to kind of think harder, think out of the box, and see how many things you can take there. Right? I Give me a thumbs up if you've done that. Yeah. I hope you're able to run through the list very quickly. On to the next one, right? Look at your list and say, hey, when I look at some of these things, can I find my tribe doing this? Yeah. If there's a hobby or whatever, if I'm going to monetize it, can I find a bunch of people that I'm going to love doing it with, that it would meet my social needs? A lot of times we live our lives in compartments. There's a professional life. I go to office, I work with people I don't connect with at all, and then I look forward to running away from office so that I can spend time with people I actually love. Right? So the the best way to kind of connect the dots is find a workspace or do work where you're able to find your tribe. So ask yourself, hey, what are these things that on my list where I can find a tribe I can do it with? And again, I want to challenge you, there most things in life, if you commit to it and if you stay the course, you will find like-minded people you can partner with, work with, join hands with, who will be your tribe. Yeah. So I hope you're getting there. I hope you're able to put some ticks. Now, this is a little more critical one, right? When you look at your list and whatever those things are, whatever those passions you put on the list, ask yourself, are you decent at it? Yeah. Do you have some amount of aptitude in just in terms of doing it? Because eventually, if you want to master it, if you want to excel in it, if you want to be recognized for it, then you've got to have some place to start, right? uh, Growing up, one of my passions was music. I really wanted to break into music. I tried learning various instrument. I went from keyboard to guitar to bass guitar to drums. I formed two bands, one in high school, the other in college, and both utterly failed, right? Because um, I sucked at it. I no skill at all there. Yeah. But in that process, what I realized is, hey, I suck at making music, but I'm great at bringing people together, right? And that became the skill that I went after, and by and large, that's one way I make money today, right? And by and large, that's how I fulfill uh, my ambition in life, bringing people together, right? One last one. I hope you've been able to tick. I hope at least some of those things on your list are you have 2 or 3 ticks there. The last one, what is it that I really find fulfillment in doing? Because sometimes we have things on our list, we like the idea of it, but when we actually have to do it, we may hate it. Like someone told me wildlife photography. Like if you have to lie there on the hard surface in the sun for 15 hours or 10 hours to get that right shot, will you be able to do it? Would you still love doing it? Yeah. Because what gives you fulfillment is things that consume you. You sit down and you forget to eat or poop or to sleep, right? So give a hard look at that list and say, what are the things that when I start doing it, I forget to eat, forget to sleep, forget to poop? I think that's one good filter to use. Yeah. So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds as you think through all the questions. Look at your list. And if you have things on your list where you have been able to put at least 3 ticks, yeah, out of 5, you know, out of 5, at least if you've been able to put 3 ticks, kind of move them into the next column. You've got your passion column, move them into potential column, because those are 4, 5 things, the 3 things, the 2 things where you have a potential. You can take that passion and you can use it, yeah, to sort of meet all this needs, yeah. um, and as you're doing that, I hope you're able to transfer. As you're doing that, I really want to challenge you, right? Because there may be some of you in the audience who are saying, hey, I can't think of anything that kind of um, meets all the needs. Doesn't matter. It doesn't need to, first of all, it doesn't need to tick all the 5 boxes. It should at least tick 3 boxes, right? Because you have to start somewhere. Yeah. And what I want to really challenge you to think about is, uh, don't say, hey, this is my reality and there's nothing I can do about it, because you can create your reality. You can take those small seeds that you see right now and you can build something out of it. Yeah. About 11 years ago, Ajit and I, one of our passions was we wanted to do something in social space. We didn't know how to start. We had no resources, no money. What we had was a tiny office, and we opened that office to about 15 children and we started teaching them. A lot of you here already know this story. But for the sake of the ones who don't know this, we opened our tiny office after 6 p.m. and it was empty, and we started teaching 15 kids, right? And today we went from one city, tiny office, to teaching the kids in 35 cities, right? So don't discount the small seeds you have. Yeah, go after it, create your own reality, because as the philosopher of today would say, if you don't like your life, then you should go change it, right? But on a very serious note, when you look at your seeds, right, just remember this. It's very easy to discount. You can count the seeds in an orange, but you can't count the oranges in a seed. Yeah, there is a potential in it, and there is so much potential in it. It just needs you to act. Yeah, a lot of times, majority of us, right, and all of us were able to put those things on the paper. Uh, we all have the ability to dream, but very few have the audacity to act on it, right? And that's what I want to challenge you. So move some of those things in potential column and say, hey, these are things I can go after, right? And Ajit will tell you what to do with that list.
Wow. Love that. Oranges, seeds, oranges. That it took, I think I had to read that quote like some 5 times to understand it only. That is fairly good. More than fairly good, I think. Excellent. Okay, we've got 16 minutes left, and we're sort of slowly getting there, right? So can you all give me a number in the chat of how many you have left in your potential column, right? How many do you have left in your potential column? Yeah. How many things left are we doing? Nice. We're down to 3, 4, 2, 5. That's a good number. That's a good number. This is working. Excellent, right? And the truth is, this is such a really good thing. You can do this in 60 minutes, and my suggestion is do it over and over again. Right? Just yesterday, I was looking back at 4 things I said I wanted to work on in 2021, and just in these last 7 months, so much I want to tweak just in terms of purpose, things I want to grow in, all of that, right? So this isn't a one-time thing. Keep doing it. Excellent. So we've done, here are all the things we're passionate about, excited about, interested in. And then here are some things we have potential in. And I think I love what Satish said. There may be things where you're not there yet today, and that's absolutely okay. Right? There are a million things I want to do, and I'm not even close to there yet today. But I still see the potential for it in my future, right? And you want to get to a third stage, your sort of third filter we want to put on these ideas today is the filter of purpose. And here within the purpose piece, I want to want us to think of two sort of different sort of filters here. The first one is whatever area you feel passionately about and you see there's potential for. A lot of times, I think your greatest fulfillment comes when you think about how I can use that for something beyond myself. Right. So if you've got 3 left, the first filter you want to put to it is saying, can I do something beyond myself? Right. Think beyond yourself, because I think it's got to be bigger than just me, myself. Right. I think a lot of times, even for a fitness goal, right? I'm married, I'm 42. There's no real reason I need to be fit and even half decently. It's too late now for Tanya. We've been married for 15 years, right? So, so actually for me, there's no reason. I can eat chocolates all day and still be happy. But the moment I think of a reason bigger than me, right? That I'm willing to go to the gym and work out and do all these absolutely crazy things, not eat chocolate. Why would a normal human being not eat chocolate, right? Because I want to be there for my kids 30 years from today. Because I want my kids to see a healthy dad. So the moment it's bigger than me, it makes so much more sense. Right? I love public speaking. I could speak till the cows come home. But if it is just about me being a good performer, it's an okay goal. I'll reach there and then I'll feel very dissatisfied. But for me, if that goal is about, okay, can I enable people to communicate what they want to communicate better? Then that excites me. That wakes me up in the morning. Then I'm willing to put in the hard yards for that. So your next filter is, hey, think of, can this be bigger than me? Okay. So if you feel this can be bigger than you, then move it to this column, right? To your purpose column. And I'll give you another filter also to think through is, and this is could be a slightly triggering one considering the year we've had. But I want you just to think of it slightly objectively here, right? So say you go to the doctor's office and you get bad news, right? When your doctor's looking down, you know there's real trouble, right? If the doctor's looking sad, then there's some real trouble, right? So imagine the doctor tells you, hey, you've got a year left to live. 365 days is all you have left, dear friend. Which of these actually move column then? What would you want to attempt in the next year? Right. And this activity is not one of morbidity, it's more one of focus. Right? Because when we face death, when we face the reality that our time is limited, when time is limited, you are choose to focus. Right? Other people's opinions stop mattering. Right? When a building is burning and you know there's a kid inside, you run in not because you're thinking, when I come out and I'm holding that child, everybody's going to be cheering for you. You have none of those thoughts. You don't even care about it. When you come out, you're still thinking of, hey, is this kid okay? So this exercise gives us focus. That's what it does. It gives us, you sort of drain out or drown out all those noises which don't matter, all those voices which don't matter. Because it's so true, right? In our last days, we always pick the things that we value the most. And you've seen this in so many people, right? When they get that death sentence, when they get that your time is running out, they convert that in that they live to their fullest. Because when you realize time is limited, you will make time for what matters. So think through what you want to move across. Yeah. And I think in your 20s, the illusion is that you're here forever, right? As much as this year taught us that we're very mortal, the illusion is that I have forever, which is true. You do have a fair amount of time. But I want you to think of a couple of things. I found this tool, which people I've been seeing a bit around, and I thought I'd share it with you. It's your life in weeks, and it's a week calendar. And essentially, you have 80 lines sort of and say we live to about 80 years. And what I've seen people do is print this out, put it up on the wall, and every day, every week, at the end of the week, they color one square. And I think just that, I think it's a very nice activity because it's not too morbid, but it's also giving, it helps you realize that, hey, I'm never getting that week back. And then you look forward to the next one, and you're more intentional about what lies ahead. For those of us who joined here at the beginning, and you put in your year that you were born, you would see that your name is changed, right? So what we've done is done some math that the average age of an Indian, they live till about 72 or 68. But if you were to live to the average age, or the age of an average Indian, that's how many days you would have left. I think it's just, and without sounding too morbid, I think it's good for us to know, right? It's good for us to know because it helps us sort of saying, hey, let me be more intentional about this. So you've got two filters, right? Time. My time is limited, and I want to do something that is bigger than me. So here's what I want us to do. How many of us are down to 1 or 2? And I think the truth is you can have 3 or 4. There's absolutely nothing there. No problem with that, right? Go for as many as you want to. Because you want to try some may work, some may not. And that's absolutely okay. So if you can end today with, hi, I'm Ajit, and I want to, and you finish that, that's a great place to start. Right? And my suggestion is treat this like a project. Like any work project, you would break it down into, hey, I want to achieve this want to achieve in this year, this want to, and a good timeline is every 2 weeks. Think of it, hey, what do I want to achieve in this area in the next 2 weeks, Take it in 14-day chunks. Not too long for a month, not too short for a week. 2 weeks is a good time. Do mini sprints for it, and you'll see progress in that area, right? So if you've got that and you're willing to put it in the chat box, that would be great. We'd love to hear your, hi, I'm Ajit, and I want to, whatever you feel your purpose, thingy-majiggy, jam is. That would be great. Beautiful. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing screen. We've got 5 minutes left. And one thing I want to tell you was, once we're done, if you do want to hang around, we're going to do I want to say after party, but that may sound too cool. So, but we're going to hang around for a little while just to chat. So everyone can unmute, ask questions, just chat. There's a lot of us who know each other here, a lot of us who don't. So we'll hang around for a while, however long, and we'd love to chat after we're done, right? Excellent. So do we have, if you've got yours, give me a thumbs up. That should be good. You've got my, hi, I'm this one, so-and-so, and excellent. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Excellent. Thank you, Shweta. I want to start my channel soon on a local language learning module. Beautiful. Hi, I'm Parnika. I want to publish a book. Winning. Hi, I'm Neeta. I want to mentor, coach people. Beautiful. That is so good. That is so good. Right? So, and for some of us, it may take more time, and that's absolutely okay. I think the worst thing is with pressure that you have to have one thing, have to 5 things, have to have something. It's absolutely okay. Right? Excellent. Satish Manchikanti, all yours to take us home.
I think when Ajit showed us the whole doctor thing and said you have only 1 year left, I was like, oops, that escalated quite rapidly, right? And then showing you how many days you have left, and if you haven't figured that out, it's there in your name, yeah. So it's very depressing for me because I have only 4 digits. A lot of you have 5 digits. Anyway, Don't worry, because I'll give you a 1500-year-old quote by a Chinese philosopher. And he said this, right? He said, all of us have two lives. All of us have two lives. And the second one starts the minute you realize you have only one life. Right? That's so you have only one life, and by the looks of it, about roughly about 12,000 to 15,000 days to leave your mark. Right? And I just want to tell you one thing. Whatever you have decided you want to start a channel, you want to write a book, whatever it is, you want to get into gardening, whatever it is, I can assure you of one thing. It's going to be uphill task. It's going to be tough. Because John Maxwell said this. He said, anything worthwhile achieving is an uphill task. Right? And if it's not, you're not aiming high. As simple as that. So get ready, whatever you've decided, it's going to be uphill task. But what will keep you going is knowing why you're doing it. Right? And the days when it gets tough, the days when you have no reason to get out of your bed, you will get out because you know why you committed to it. I remember one of those days in my life when I didn't want to get out of my bed. Things were tough. I was close to bankrupt, and we were trying to grow you and I at this point. And I literally pushed myself to get ready that morning. And I had made up already in my mind that I'm going to give up UNI. I'm going to shut it down. I didn't want to do it anymore. This charity vanity enough. I want to focus on my personal life. That was my motive that morning. And the first thing I had to do that morning was I had a meeting with this social worker who was in the space of anti-trafficking. So her job was to rescue kids. And I went there to meet with her, and I was waiting for the meeting to start, and she started chatting, right? And she started telling me about this 9-year-old child, 9-year-old girl from West Bengal that she had recently rescued. And this is that girl's story. A 9-year-old girl from West Bengal doesn't have a mother, father is paralyzed, had two younger siblings, and a neighbor's friend's friends comes home and tells the father, hey, why don't you send your daughter with me to Bangalore? I'll get her a job as a domestic help, and she'll make good money, and she'll be able to send that money home. And father, out of desperation, says, okay, take her and go. And he brings her to Bangalore. 3 days in a local train. The girl is sitting in his lap, and his hands are all over her body. He brings her to Bangalore, makes her live with his family, his wife, and his children. And every night, 9-year-old girl, remember that, yeah? Every night he wakes her up and he rapes her. And eventually he takes her somewhere to one couple's house so that she can work there. And fortunately, the couple look at her and say, hey, she's so young, she can't work here as domestic help. And they say, please take her back. And the girl, fortunately starts crying and says, please don't send me back with this man. And she tells them what he's doing to her. And fortunately, though, that couple had the presence of mind to call the social worker, and she was rescued, and she was put in a shelter home in a safely, right? And this social worker is telling me this story, and then she says, hey, then we rescued this girl, and we put her in this home. And then she mentioned the name of that home. And when she mentioned the name of that home, it was as if I was hit by a bolt of lightning. Because I realized that we as you and I work with that home. And that 9-year-old girl from West Bengal is one of the children we work with. That day, sitting there at the verge of giving up what I committed to, I said, God, I found my why. This is why I'm going to dedicate my life, and this is what I'm going to dedicate my life to. So whatever is on your list, find purpose in it. Find why. It doesn't matter what it is. Nothing is more noble than the other. As long as you commit your life to it, it will become noble. Because the goodness comes out of you. Right? When you bring the best version of yourself and you offer it, you will bless people. And that is all we're all called to do. And that can be our why. The story of this Irish man who died and went to heaven, and he was stopped at the heavenly gates by Saint Peter, and Saint Peter said, "Oh, you want to go in? Show me your scars." And this man was really confused. He said, I have no scars." And Saint Peter looked at him with very sad look, and he said, "What a pity! All your life, and you found nothing worth fighting for." So my challenge to you, my friends, tonight is to find something worth fighting for. That 15,000 odd days you have, put yourself in the battle. Yeah. And when you put yourself out there, when you take a chance, when you have the audacity to act on the list that's in front of you, you will realize that you're meant for something more. Right? And that's my challenge to you. So all the best. Over to Ajit.
Thank you, Satish. And thank you, everyone. I think absolutely love the last hour that we've had together. We are officially done. You're welcome to log off. If you're still saying, hey, I'd love to chat, please feel free to hang around. We're going to play some music and just hang around and chat and answer any questions you may have. And also, if you're still saying, hey, I want to find some place where I can help serve, volunteer, there's this really nice organization I know called UNI. And we've heard of it a few times. They seem to be doing some good work. If you want to teach a child, if you want to help with a million things, you can teach virtually. You can go to volunteer.uni.org.in. And if you want to work with us, also absolutely great, right? Since it's our workshop, we plug our own organization. Beautiful. Excellent. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend and have fun, right? Thank you all and welcome. Let's kick off the after party. If everyone wants to hang around.